has everything. He probably doesn't have this. And it's a real snazzy box. So it's gift wrapped already and ready to go. So it's a great place to find a Father's Day gift that will really, something he can use and enjoy. And, once he gets it, you'll have to make sure that his son or his friends or his neighbors don't take it. That's a number one problem.
Well, problem for
it and somebody else steals it.
A problem for the owner, not so much for you though. Good thing for you, I guess. But and could you just give us a price range, because I think for the value, the amount of length that they'll last and how beautiful they are, real leather. What's the price range?
Yeah, if you buy one of our classic 35s, they're $35. If you buy a little bit wider one, that 40 millimeter, it's $40. And if you buy a gift pack, it starts at about $99. If you buy a 3 belt gift pack.
So it's very, very affordable. So, it doesn't only have to be somebody really close. It could be somebody in your foursome or somebody you work with. Makes a great gift. And I highly recommend this for anybody, for any kind of gift. Great for golf tournaments as well. We were just talking earlier that I have a golf tournament coming up, and they asked me to donate something, and, it would make a great raffle prize at a charity golf tournament as well. So missionbelt.com. You can find out more information, and we want to thank you, Zach, for coming on and sharing all this wonderful news about how Mission Belt has grown.
Hey, well, thanks for having us. We love being out there with the golfers.
All right, well, thank you. What we're going to do is we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back with more of the Golf and Travel Show, so stay tuned.
Cinderella story, out of nowhere, a former greenskeeper now about to become the Masters champion.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole!
I rap fly, call me chocolate thunder, and I got good to go 4 strokes under. Get out the way if you wanna go play, cause I give it my all every single day.
Have a lot of cash cause I sink my putts. Stacks and stacks cause I'm making the cuts. You can't fathom my skills, I'm unreal. Drop to the put, you don't
and
know how
we
I
are
feel.
back,
Boom.
and it is time for a message from my favorite co-host, and that would be none other than the Jess Frank Golf Academy, the home of the playing lesson, and of course my co-host Jess Frank, who for 15 years has been improving golfers' ball striking consistency and distance. He's a PGA teaching professional and the owner of the Jess Frank Golf Academy, located in Boca Raton at the beautiful Boca Dunes Golf and Country Club. So if you're a seasoned golfer who's trying to break 80 or just a beginner, Jess's passion is to help you play better golf and have a lot of fun while you do it. Each lesson includes on-course time with V1 video analysis, focusing on improving all facets of your game. And for a limited time, new students who mention the Golf and Travel Show will receive a $50 Edwin Watts gift card with the purchase of a series of lessons. To learn more about the services of the Jess Frank Golf Academy, call 561-213-8579. That's 561-213-8579, or visit jessfrankgolf.com. Also check out Jess's videos on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we are back, and Let the Music Play, one of my favorite bands, and a great song. And just saw them actually a couple of weeks ago right here in Pompano Beach, the Doobie Brothers, and they put on a great show. And speaking about putting on a great show, their manager happens to be a guy by the name of B.R. Cohn. And B.R. Cohn has been their manager forever and ever, since the beginning of time. And he happens to also be the owner of the B.R. Cohn Winery out in Sonoma.
Nice.
And for many, many, many years, I don't know how many, but many years, he's been doing a series of concerts to raise money for some very worthy causes out in the Sonoma area, like veterans, for instance, especially. And I went to one of the concerts there 2 or 3 years ago. It's at the winery, and it was one of the most beautiful places you could ever be. You would sit on a hill. They had hay that you would sit on.
Nice.
And you'd look down onto the stage because it rose up where you would sit. And behind the stage was the vineyards. Behind the vineyards was the mountains.
Nice.
And it was absolutely beautiful. And you can get as much wonderful wine as you wanted to drink, and great food, gourmet food to go with it. And they would have a weekend of great rock acts, usually 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Some of them he managed, some people he knows. And they changed it every year, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And this year, for better or for worse, it's going to move. It's going to go closer to the downtown area, a couple of blocks to a ball field called the Field of Dreams. And it's happening soon. I think tickets just went on sale recently. It's October 2nd through 4th, which sounds like it's a long way off. These concerts sell out. Wow. They sell out early. And I didn't know. When I went, I had no idea. I figure it's this outside festival.
Right.
I'll go scalp a ticket. Well, the ticket started at about $100. And because it's a charity concert with a lot of big acts, a festival of some sorts. And there were no tickets.
Wow.
You couldn't get tickets anywhere. I somehow finagled a couple, and I got to go. And like I said, I had the time of my life. I stayed in San Francisco, which was maybe a little over an hour away. So beautiful drive up there.
Sure.
No big deal. Not so sure about hotel rooms. So, again, if you want to stay up in the Sonoma area, you may want to think about it right now. And just to give you an example, they do change it every year, but the lineup this year is pretty remarkable, especially if you like some of the more classic acts like I do. Again, I was into it when I was about 2 years old, so I don't want to give away my age. But Friday, October 2nd, it's going to be Chicago and America, which is pretty awesome double bill. On Saturday, Ringo Starr and his all-star band, who I've seen many times. I mean, I've seen Chicago and America many times too, but one of my favorites, who I'm going to be seeing down here in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, Todd Rundgren is in the band. Greg Rowley, who sang with Santana. Evil Ways was his vocals. Other guys from some pretty famous bands are playing with him as well. And Blast from the Past, a band by the name of Pablo Cruz, is also going to be the opening act. So that's on Saturday, October 3rd. And then on Sunday, they're going to wrap it up with an incredible day. And this is a real rare thing these days to see, and that would be the Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald.
Wow.
He played with them for a very short period of time, had a couple of big hits, left the band. On rare occasion, he shows up and he'll play with them again. And many people, when I saw them, they'll do some of the songs that were his vocals, and, for many years they wouldn't play them. But the fans wanted to hear them, so they have somebody else who sings for him. But there's no voice that's the same as Michael McDonald's voice. So to see the Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald is a treat. On top of that, they've got Greg Allman, and of course the Allman Brothers recently broke up, so it's difficult to see them. But of course he is the lead vocalist on most every song that they sing. So hearing him with his band is a pretty good substitute. And, and again, I mean, I've seen the Doobie Brothers. I've seen the Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald. I've seen the Allman Brothers. I've seen Greg Allman. All great. I recently saw the Edgar Winter Band, sat about as close as I am to you right now, Jess.
Nice.
Freaked my wife out, unfortunately, because she was too close for comfort. But great lineup to close out the show, and it's only because B.R. Cohn, is the manager of the Doobie Brothers that he could pull off this magic and put on a show like this, and expect him to raise just tons and tons of money for some great charitable causes. So I can't say enough about this event and what a great time it is, and that you don't want to wait too long, to go check it out. So you do want to go check it out, and I don't know if I have the email address here, or the website rather. So just Google B.R. Cohn Winery, and you will find out all the information that you need to know. And if you don't want to do that, you can always just post me on our Facebook page, facebook.com/The Golf and Travel Show.
Part of Dan's deals.
Exactly. But just in case you do want to go and you do want to stay in Sonoma, and you do want to make, a longer vacation out of it, you can go to SonomaCounty.com. That is the Visitors and Convention Bureau, or the tourist board for the county, and they have some really cool deals there. Now, of course, these deals on hotels, for instance, may not be available that weekend because the demand is going to be so high, but it's still a good place to check out. They also have deals on like wine tours and car rentals and just all sorts of stuff that even a brewery tour, which you wouldn't quite expect, some cool restaurants. They've got discounts. So if you do want to make a long weekend and take a trip out there to Sonoma, I can't recommend it enough. It's a part of the country that you don't want to miss, whether you love wine or don't. It's either way, it's a good thing. So SonomaCounty.com and find out more about that wonderful part of the country. And do like I did as well. Stay in San Francisco for a couple of days. It's a great city too, especially if you're a foodie. The Asian food is incredible. The seafood, you get the Pacific stuff a little bit different than we get here on the Atlantic. Some crabs and abalone and just interesting stuff. It's very, very different. Wonderful crab. Oh, wow. Really great. You go down to Fisherman's Wharf and just on the sidewalk, they've got little stands set up with giant shrimp cocktails and raw oysters and just incredibly good food.
Let's go.
So, I know, I'm getting hungry. We may have to start eating some of this crispy fruit here that we got here. It's so hard to talk on the radio while you're eating.
Exactly.
So I don't think we should do that. But I got a bunch of other things to talk about tonight, and we have some things that we were saving from last week that we're going to get to maybe in the last segment. But here's an interesting story that I wanted to talk about, something that I just saw in the past day or two. And I believe I picked it up in the Atlantic Constitution Journal. And Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, which is one of the busiest airports anywhere, they've got a new deal now where you can actually reserve a parking space in advance. And I thought that was really cool. For anybody who's ever tried to get a parking space at the airport, especially a busy time like now, spring break time or summer vacation time or Christmas time, and you do have to pay a small fee. But sometimes for the convenience of making sure that you got a spot, it's a pretty cool idea. I haven't heard of any other airport doing anything like this, and obviously not. You got to live in the Atlanta area, or you're probably not driving a car and parking it at the airport. But my thought is that if they're the first ones to do it, it could be a trend, and it could be something that's going to be coming to an airport near you, and I think it should.
Why not?
Exactly. I think it's $5 to reserve, and then another $12 per day. So. It's a little bit pricey, but again, if you've ever gone to the airport and drove around,
done it. It's no fun.
You have a flight maybe that you're getting close to, and you don't know how long the line is at security. Just the stress. It's not worth it.
Yeah, no.
So
reserve your spot.
Exactly. So I can't say it's one of Dan's deals, but it's certainly some smart information.
It's travel information.
Exactly.
That's what part of golf and travel.
Here's another kind of golf and travel related story. So why don't we talk about this in this segment as well? And our friends at the Annika Golf Academy, and that's up in Reunion.
Annika.
Yep, and she's got a great academy up there. She's there quite often, so it's possible that you could end up working with her, or sometimes not. You end up with somebody on her staff, and she's got great people, including her
instructors.
sister.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. It's a great place, really good.
Excellent player.
Yep.
But if you want to be guaranteed an opportunity to actually get some instruction from Annika, you can do that and take a little vacation out to Highlands, North Carolina's Old Edwards Inn and Spa. This is May 25th to the 28th, which is a great time to be up in the Carolinas. Beautiful time, springtime, and especially for us folks that it's just summer all the time and beautiful all the time. We get bored. So if you want to get a change of season, it's boring that it's so beautiful every day.
Not boring.
You're laughing. I agree. It's funny because when I was up in Georgia, they said this is the furthest south I think you can go where you still have 4 seasons, and I thought to myself, 2 or 3 seasons is okay. 4, I can do without.
Yeah,
exactly. It's too many seasons.
Exactly.
But this is a very, very cool trip. You get a private dinner with Annika Sorenstam and the entire team, a private clinic with her, photographs and autographs with Annika, 3 days of golf and fitness instruction, a fitness and nutritional overview, weight training, 27 holes with green fees and cart fees, video swing analysis, course management during your golf, breakfast and lunch every day, a gift package. And again, I can't say it's a deal because usually my deals are inexpensive, not cheap, but you're with somebody who was the best golfer in the world.
She's probably the best golfer in the world. I mean, at
her time, she
probably
was
top 5 men or women golfers
right. Well,
of all
and typically
time.
you don't want to. It's hard to compare men and women, but if you
if
you look at her career and you look at the statistics, it's just amongst the best ever.
She's as good as it gets right there. And she still hits a beautiful golf ball. Holy mackerel.
She sure does. So it costs $4,125 per person, and for more information, you could go to the AnnikaAcademy.com and find out more about it. And I just think just to be in her presence would be very inspiring.
It's very cool. I've talked with her a bunch of times at the PGA show, and she's done clinics here in Boca at the Allianz Championship and Ladies' Day and things like that. And she's just she's a wonderful lady and a great golfer, and now she's a mom too. So there you go.
Very, very cool.
Yep.
All right, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to take our last break. I do have a couple of deals actually that are bargains that I can let everybody know about, so you don't want to miss that. And we also going to talk a little bit about jet etiquette, what to do when you're in a weird situation on an airplane. So you don't want to miss that either. So stay tuned for more of the Golf and Travel Show. We'll be right back. And we are back, and we like to see people going somewhere as opposed to you ain't going nowhere. Nice, great Dylan song performed there by the Byrds. And sometimes, though, when we do try and get out of town, you run into situations that are just not the most pleasant.
Yeah, no.
And I came across some information that I really wanted to share with everybody because sometimes we just don't know what to do when we're in these weird situations, especially on an airplane. And I found this information from a woman by the name of Jacqueline Whitmore, and she is an internationally recognized etiquette expert. She's the author and the founder of the Protocol School of Palm Beach and a former flight attendant. So she really knows, everything about being on an airplane, everything that could go wrong.
Yeah.
And being an etiquette expert, she knows how to solve these problems.
And you don't mess around on an airplane. I mean, you're going to go to federal prison.
Well,
so.
Yeah, like the equivalent of road rage. Right. If you have that on an airplane, you're really in trouble.
Yeah,
it's bad on the road. It's worse on an airplane.
Yeah.
But here are some of the different situations that she is trying to provide advice on how you could take care of it in the easiest manner without things going wrong.
There you go.
So, and I'm sure we've all experienced each and every one of these. So we're going to start out with the armrest hogger. Okay. So
I got you. Okay.
Who hasn't had that?
No,
you got a little battle going back and forth with your elbows, and it's just not right. So according to Jacqueline Whitmore, she says that what you should simply do is inch your way in by placing your elbow next to theirs. This should leave plenty of space for your greedy neighbor's elbow. And armrest rules are when you have 3 seats next to each other, the person in the middle seat gets to claim the armrests. So I guess they don't have much else. So they have the right of way, I suppose.
I like the window seat personally because then I can lean against it and fall asleep.
Right. I guess that's her point. You at least can go the other direction, and that's the best thing. If you're stuck in the middle and you have people that don't follow these rules, you end up with nothingness, and that's never fun. So now sometimes we end up sitting next to the chatterbox. And that's that person who strikes up a conversation and, maybe after a while you've had enough and you don't really know how to get out of it and you're flying, halfway around the world and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, how am I going to stop this? And, according to Jacqueline, she says that what you need to do is be polite, exchange a few pleasantries and say something such as, it was nice speaking with you, but if you don't mind, I have to get some work done or some much needed rest.
Right.
Closing your eyes generally does the trick as well. And she also has a note, you should always travel with earphones or headphones.
Yes.
I bring my headphones all the time, and eye shades as well, especially if you're flying the red eye like I often do coming back from Vegas or California. So good idea. Her next person that you might encounter is the Space Invader.
Video game.
And this is a person that invades your personal space with their newspaper or their carry-on bag. And I guess, again, we've all experienced that. And this is what you might say. It seems like on these planes are just getting smaller and smaller. Would you mind moving your arm or bag over just a touch? So, that's kind of disarming, I suppose. Then sometimes, and again, I've experienced this, you get the seat recliner. And that's somebody who reclines back too far while you're trying to eat or on top of your laptop or watch a movie. And my daughter actually experienced this, and it was national news. There were a fight broke out, and somebody got thrown off the plane or arrested or whatever because they went, back into somebody.
Right.
And I read it, or I saw it on the news, and then the next day my daughter called to tell me that she was sitting one row behind that, and she couldn't believe what was going on. So you had mentioned that, you got to be careful on these planes. You could get yourself in a lot of trouble. So if this happens to you, then you got two options. You could recline your seat back a little bit, which will give you a little bit more space, or you could say something like, would you mind pulling your seat forward just a little bit to the person in front of you? And it's possible that they might not know that they're inconveniencing you. And note, when you recline your seat back, always glance back and make sure the person behind you isn't using their tray table to eat or to work. Sometimes you end up sitting next to the snorer. And, it could be me. It's very possible, although I don't sleep as well as I used to, so I don't know. But it's very, very difficult to talk to somebody when they're sound asleep. Yes. You're not going to get too far. So Jacqueline recommends that it's always best to travel with a good pair of noise-canceling earphones or headphones, or you can always ask the flight attendant if it's possible to get you moved to another seat, and sometimes you can. Sometimes you get the sleeper sitting next to you, and, you might need to use the bathroom on the plane, but your aisle seatmate is sound asleep. So what you need to do is gently tap him or her on the shoulder and say, excuse me. No other explanation is necessary. Never attempt to crawl over him or her. See, that could get you in trouble. They wake up, and all of a sudden you're
on top of them.
Never good.
That's not good.
No, you don't want that to happen. So, especially if it's totally, honest. I mean, getting in trouble for that is really bad. Yeah. Sometimes you're sitting in front of the unruly child, and it's never your place to discipline someone else's child, so your best bet is to move to another seat if available, or alert a flight attendant. Never try to intervene yourself.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I've sat in front of this person, and that is the seat kicker.
Oof.
Usually it's a child who's kicking the back of your seat, although sometimes it's an adult as well. They're stretching out, so, some people never grow up. Simply turn around and glance at the child and the parent if it's a child, and the parent will oftentimes get the hint and ask the child to stop. If this doesn't work, kindly speak up and ask the child to stop kicking your seat. And last but not least, sometimes you encounter the surly flight attendant. Wow. And I certainly have had that as well.
Yeah.
Usually it's when their contract hasn't been renegotiated for a few years and they're not happy about their paycheck and they get in a bad mood sometimes. But you should never try and challenge a flight attendant unless you want to be thrown off the plane. If you encounter a rude flight attendant, jot down his or her name, your flight number, and email a letter to the company as soon as possible. Better yet, share your grievance on Twitter or other social media for faster results.
There you go.
So, again, I don't think there's a single one of those things that I haven't experienced, and this is really good advice. I'm sure that everybody got something from this, and we don't want to see anybody thrown off the plane. So thanks again to Jacqueline Whitmore, and she is the founder of the Protocol School right in Palm Beach. So great advice. Now we still do have, a little bit of time to talk about some deals and some not deals again. So let's talk about this one, because this is a wonderful place, but again, it's not cheap. So if you've got a bigger budget to spend, we've had these folks on before on the show. Okay. So we always like to give a little props to some of the folks that we've had on as guests. And this is the Cuisinart Golf Resort and Spa in Anguilla. So we spoke about their wonderful food and how they grow all their own herbs and some of their vegetables, and
Cuisinart Spa.
Very, very, very special place, and they've got a beautiful Greg Norman golf course. So they have a new PGA certified professional, and also to take advantage of this opportunity of announcing him, they wanted to announce that they've got some new golf packages for this year available from April 12th to December 18th. And they've got one which is a 6-day, 5-night with beachfront accommodations, full breakfast daily, 2 rounds of golf per person, a massage, a 50-minute massage per person, 2 lunches, 3 dinners, and it's a beachfront junior suite, starts at $41.25. And also you can get a 7-night package that's quite similar, and for 7 nights it is $57.85 for that same room. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place, and you'll be treated like a king. Worth the price if it's in your budget, and CuisinartResort.com is where you can find out more about it. Now, finally, I think it's time to talk about a deal.
Nice.
A real deal. Okay, can we do that? You ready for that?
I'm ready for the deal.
For that. Okay, so here's the deal. This is on a cruise, and it is a summer cruise to Europe. And summertime is a great time, of course, to go to Europe. That's when everybody has their vacation, so it's a peak time. And, obviously you don't want to go when it's freezing cold if you're going to be out there in the Mediterranean or other parts of Europe, especially if you go into some of the northern parts. And starting for this 11-night cruise, and this is an ocean view cabin on Holland America, which is one of the better cruise lines. And you can go to either a round trip. Actually, this isn't a round trip. This is one way from Rome to Venice, or Venice to Barcelona, and it can also be the reverse. And they've got dates in May, in June, and August for only $999 for 11 nights.
Not
which
bad.
is pretty cool because it's not inexpensive to eat in Europe. So, of course, and hotels are expensive in Europe. So you've got the roof over your head. You got all your meals taken care of. You got an ocean view room.
Yep.
And they even give you on most of these sounds, I believe all of them, $50 onboard credit per cabin. So that's pretty cool. And it does include holidays as well. Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day are all included in this. They also, for that same price, they have a round trip to Copenhagen for 12 nights. For the same $999. For just $100 more, there's a round trip for 12 nights that leaves and comes back to Venice. And for that same price, you could go Venice to Barcelona or reverse for 12 nights. And for that same price, you could go Venice to Rome or Rome to Amsterdam for either 11 or 14 nights. I mean, it's just getting better and better the more you hear about it. So I've only heard good things from people. I have not traveled on Holland America before. But I've heard wonderful things about it. It's definitely an upscale cruise line, and if you like to cruise and you want to go check out Europe, this is the summer to do it. I wouldn't put it off, and I also wouldn't wait. You got to book this in a hurry. So check out TravelZoo.com. That's where that is and you'll find it right there. Also, I saw another really interesting story, and I was interested in this story because when I worked in New York, I used to call in their office, and this is French designer Philippe Starck, and he had an office in New York that I used to go to. He is one of the most famous hotel designers anywhere in the world.
Wow.
And he was commissioned to do a SLS, which is a high-end chain. They recently opened in Las Vegas, and they opened in Miami Beach. And it's a beautiful design. It's going to be 13 lower floors in an office building. It's a mixed-use building. It's under construction in Seattle. Going to be completed in 2017, and Seattle is just all abuzz because this guy, he typically does bigger cities, your New Yorks and Parises and places like that. And for Seattle to get a Philippe Starck designed hotel is just like the talk of the town. It's a $400 million project, and a lot of people know Starck. He started 15 years ago doing design work for Target, and it was really unusual back then for a discount store like that to be bringing in high-end design people, and it led to many other high-end design people working with Target, and then other retailers kind of copying that trend. So this guy's got a lot of cachet. So very, very cool, and congratulations to Seattle. So
there you go.
What I want to do is one last time remind everybody, first of all, to always go check out our Facebook page. That would be facebook.com/The Golf and Travel Show, because we always post all the information. And I wanted to thank our guests from this week. Of course, that was Zach Hosevel and the co-founder of Mission Belts. They're doing great work. They got great product, missionbelts.com. Next week, we're going to be talking to Mark McCall. He's the national sales director of Crispy Green. They've got these great products that we saved you from having to listen to us eat, but they're fruit products that are great for the golf course, and we'll find out more about that next week, so you don't want to miss that. And also, of course, want to thank my co-host, Jess Frank of the Jess Frank Golf Academy. You can contact him at 561-213-8579, or you could always visit jessfrankgolf.com. And what we're going to do is we're going to be back next week, same time, same place, and we will be talking a little bit more about, we got another second or two, so we're going to be talking a little bit more, of course, about golf and what's going on in the golf world. And I'll be talking a little bit. I'm actually playing tomorrow, so I'll be talking my new R15 that I got while we were up at Reynolds Plantation when I visited.
You're going to break out the lumber.
Yeah. When I got to go to the tour trailer and get fitted for my new driver. So we're going to find out. This will be the first time that I'm putting it in play. And I do have a couple of other products that I picked up at the golf show that I need to sample and make sure they're okay. And I will have the crispy fruit bananas out there on the golf course, and I'll try that too. So you don't want to miss any of that next week on the Golf and Travel Show.
Absolutely, and we also have it's springtime, so you know what that means. It's the Masters.
There you go. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Actually, we may have an agronomist on to talk a little bit about the Masters next week as well. Tune in. Don't miss it.
On a tour of one night stands, my suitcase and guitar in hand, and every stop is neatly planned for a poet and a one-man band.
You have been listening to the Golf and Travel Show, hosted by Dan Shub, heard live every Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. on 1470 WWNN, and replayed every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 740 a.m. WSBR. Visit the show on Facebook and tune in next week If you are in South Florida or traveling the world, hit 'em straight. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.